Are you over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days? I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. Call now for this free book on maximizing your income in retirement. Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers from leading financial firm J.D. Milberg. That's right, free. This book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known truths we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. And it's free.
Call 800-883-7058.
As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report. We researched numerous products and summarized rates and benefits of annuities, all from Sentinel Security Life Insurance Company.
Call 800-883-7058. That's 800-883-7058.
Call now.
Welcome, everyone, to Bebo Weekly's Winner's Circle, where winning is always a part of the conversation. I'm Tracy S. Campbell, I'm your host, and we are back right here in the Winner's Circle with another great week, as always, and another great guest. Now, for those of you that follow us, you've seen us before, you know that our mission each and every week is to bring you actionable advice and information that you can actually use when we're done. That's our goal each and every week. And guess what? Today, we're back with another great guest that's going to help you take action. And as we say, keep you on the winning side. Now, today, we're talking about real estate. And we're also talking about not only real estate, but we're also talking about, well, right now, a lot of millennials are getting into that space. And we have an incredible millennial right now joining us today. She is a real estate agent and she's very passionate about real estate education. Join me in welcoming Benita Summers. Hey there, Benita. Thank you for being with us here.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for having me. Hello, everyone.
Well, we're glad to have you. And we're going to have a great conversation tonight. And we're talking about, I know your favorite subject, real estate. And before we get into some of the actionable advice and things that you're going to give us tonight, before we even get into that, Benita, I want to talk about the fact that you have a passion for real estate that started with your uncle, from what I understand. And because of his success, here you are today. Can you share with us a little bit about that relationship with your uncle? It sounds like it was a great one, and why real estate is something that you are just absolutely so passionate about.
Well, growing up, my uncle, Anthony Willoughby, he had his, he did real estate. He obtained his broker license and he got his own real estate brokerage. And by the time he was 34 years old, he was getting ready to, be the president of the Memphis chapter of NARAB. So he was the youngest president, in that time, in the 90s, in 95 actually, to, lead the organization. And so, it was just, his drive and his passion for the community and, his family and my grandmother, the love that he had and what he wanted to accomplish with real estate, that inspired me.
Fantastic. And for those who may not be familiar with NARAB, can you tell us what NARAB stands for, Benita, and why that's so important and his affiliation with it, why that was so important?
Yes, ma'am. So NARAB is the National Association of Real Estate Brokerages. So it's not just a state thing, one state, it's national in the whole, in our whole United States. So, and, they make sure that, consumer protection is the most important, and making sure that we are, being ethical in our business practices. And, they have education for us, on how we can be better agents. So, he led the Memphis chapter of that, organization.
Fantastic, phenomenal. Well, it sounds like you are absolutely carrying on that tradition of excellence in your family as it relates to real estate. So we applaud you for that, Benita. I think that's awesome. We absolutely applaud you for that. So now, everyone, as you know, each and every week, it's about that time. I tell you to break out your notepad, your notebook, whatever it is that you use to take notes. this is the time to do it right now. Okay. And for those of you that are here coming into the room, guess what? At the bottom of this hour, in about 30 minutes or so, you're going to be able to ask questions and interact with us. But right now, we're going to keep the conversation going with Benita and get to know her a little bit more. Now, Benita, I know, and well, most people would say that over the last 2 years, we've been in a buyer's market. I think most people would say that with some level of confidence. And so, we've been watching the market and watching the trends with this buyer's market, if you will. And so share with us right now, for those that may be taking notes, or maybe they're in the market or will be in the market soon. Are we still in a buyer's market, or have we shifted so far in spring of 2022?
Well, actually, we have been in a seller's market for the past 2 years. And what that means is we have a low inventory, but we have, a number of buyers, that are looking to purchase a property, but there're just not enough properties to go around. So that means, and for the past 2 years, we've been in a very competitive real estate market. But the good news is the interest rates are the lowest they have ever been. I think we're at about a 5% interest rate right now. And also new construction is being built. So now would be a great time to actually purchase your property so that, you can go ahead and get your new build built. And in about 6 months to a year, depending on who your builder is, you'll be ready to move into your dream home.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I thank you for correcting me. We've been in a seller's market, everyone. Make sure you get that right. I didn't. Make sure you get it right. We've been in a seller's market for the last 2 years. But you just said something really important, Benita. So right now, if I wanted to go out and buy property right now, if I wanted to go out and obtain property as a buyer, this is a good time for me, right? So are we beginning to see that shift? Are we shifting now?
Well, one thing that we are seeing is, the sellers are willing to compromise a little bit more versus how they have been in the past 2 years. Right now, today in the spring of 22, they are compromising a little bit more and working with the buyers. But we're still in that seller's market. We still have that low inventory. And, I just think it's awesome because what that means is a lot of people have been working on themselves. They've been building their credit. They've been educating themselves, and they are in 2022 ready to purchase properties. There's just not enough inventory to go around, but there is something being done about that. So people, just have a little patience, with the market. Properties that are being added every day. There are new properties being added to the market. So it's just a matter of, being patient and knowing what you want, and, being willing to, just being patient to get that.
Yeah. So it's still a seller's market. And I know there were some predictions last year that the market would shift right around spring. And from what you're telling us, it really hasn't shifted a lot. It's still a seller's market. Do you anticipate it being that for another 6 months? Can we say that the bulk of 2022 is still going to be a seller's market, and therefore there's going to be low inventory?
So, I've been reading that, around 2023, which would be next year, we can start seeing that increase in inventory. But yeah, right now there is still going to be that low inventory, and it's still going to be a seller's market. But again, we don't want to let that, discourage us from being homeowners and, being a part of home ownership, because, not only are we building, a legacy for the generations that come after us. But, we're just learning to, this is life, the market does this, interest rates go up, interest rates go down. We have inventory, and then like now the inventory is low. It's like the cycle of life, and just about watching the market and, just preparing ourselves and preparing our clients, I think the word that I'm keeping here is patience. Like, we just have to learn patience and understand the process of home ownership and purchasing a property, and everything will be okay. Even if it is still a seller's market in 2 years, patience is really a virtue. You still can get that property that you're looking for. There's still options. Just have to have patience.
Just have to have patience. No, I love it. And I think when people are buying a home, I know when we went through that process, you want what you want and you want it now, right? I know everyone can relate to that, especially you home buyers out there. And right now, again, you can still have what you want, but you may just have to wait a little bit longer for it. And the negotiation, I'm assuming, Benita, may take a little longer, right? There was a time when, of course, if it's a buyer's market, you can more or less name your price and you can go through the process relatively quickly. Now we may have to do a little bit more negotiating. Are you seeing a lot of that?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily use the word negotiating. What we're seeing is even though the sellers are compromising with the buyers are the ones that's doing the most compromising right now. So that's, what the negotiation is about. The negotiation is rather with our clients. If we don't have a seller that's willing to compromise, we're most definitely having these conversations with our clients about, what's most important to you, so that, we can kind of, maybe it's something on your list that you may not absolutely need, and that you can wait on. And especially with you being, if a person is a first-time home buyer, we do encourage that, even though if the property doesn't have a fireplace and it has everything else that you are looking for in your criteria, the purpose, in home ownership is to build equity, is to be invested in, so if you go ahead and, I don't want to say settle, because you're not settling, you're building, okay? You're investing in your future. So you might have to go ahead and, purchase that property without that fireplace, but just give yourself a year, depending on how your loan is organized,
Right.
you may be able to go ahead and just in that year, you will have enough equity built up where you can actually move into the next home and your next property. And it is the property that has everything that you're looking for. So sometimes, we just have to look at really, what do we need really, and what do we want, and kind of knock off some of those wants.
And especially, as you just said, with a first-time home buyer, that probably is not going to be your final home, right? So if you don't get everything in that first home, that first property, I guess what you're saying to us, Benita, is it's more important to get the property. It's more important to get into ownership. And then maybe on the second house, the third house, whatever it is, you will get everything that you want. Because most people don't stay in the first house that they buy nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct. And I also say this as well. When that happens, when, like you just spoke about, just getting that property and you will move into the next one, you technically don't even have to sell that first property. You can use it as a rental property. You can use it as an Airbnb. You can use it for someone in your family. The point is that you have equity to move and do something else with. You probably can refinance with that property and get another property. There's so many options. Like you said, the most important thing is getting the property, getting in that property. You've done the work. Go ahead and get that property so you can continue to move forward in your life.
I love it. I love it. Sage advice, everybody. And so now, one thing that I definitely want to talk about, everyone, this evening is, if you haven't guessed, Benita is a young professional. I love it. I love to see that. And Benita, you are a millennial, I'm going to venture to say. And so I think that it's fantastic. And I have to give thanks to your uncle, but I think it's fantastic that you are now in this space. But there's going to be folks, and you may have seen this already, there are going to be folks that are going to say, well, this is great. I think it's awesome, but I'm more comfortable with someone a little older, someone who they feel is more seasoned. What I want to ask you right now, Benita, is, that aside, what is it that we can take from someone such as yourself, a very talented and successful real estate agent who happens to be a millennial? What are 3 things or 4 things you want to give us that we should actually look at as benefits to dealing with someone that is younger in the industry and what they may be able to bring? What are 3 or 4 things that you can give us that we should be looking at and embracing and celebrating as we go out and look for that next real estate agent or real estate professional?
Yes, ma'am. Well, the first thing I will say, everyone has their own rights, and their right to make their own decision. And I respect a person who decides, they know what they want, so they would like to, use a more seasoned agent, because we learn from our seasoned agents. So we totally understand them wanting to work with a more seasoned agent. Now, as a millennial, aside from, the respect aspect that we have for not only our elders, but for our peers and the younger generation, I think we're, that connect piece. So what I will say is we are fast learners. That is something that we're also great listeners. Okay, so we're also tech savvy. I think we're a little bit more personable and easy to get along with. We have I see that a lot with my real estate professional peers, that we have a drive. Okay, we have a commitment and a vision for change and equality, because we are in that, that connect place in the middle, to see the past and the future. We bridge that gap between the younger generation and the older generation, so we're able to understand and help them coincide, help the elders, understand us, and help the younger generation understand the elders. And also that bridging, the past and the future. We didn't necessarily grow up with technology all of our lives, okay? So I think that's where we could connect with the older generation. However, we did have technology the other part of our lives. So that puts us in a position, for one thing, know, to see, and to be able to know what works and use that, and what doesn't work, and just get rid of that altogether, so that we could, be more, have a better future. That, I think that's what millennials are all about, just connecting and building.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. And I like what you said about millennials, depending on where you are as a millennial, what age you are as a millennial, you may or may not have always had technology at your hand, right? So being able to talk the language between older buyers or sellers, younger buyers and sellers, and millennials are right there somewhat in the middle, to be able to kind of bridge that gap. I love that. And I think that's important. I think that's key. And I think there's a big misconception oftentimes in any industry, not just real estate, that when you're dealing with a younger generation, oh, they're not seasoned enough, they haven't been around enough. But there's so many other unique things that you bring to the table. And I love to see that, especially in the area of real estate. So in addition to being a millennial, you're also a young African-American female. How has that experience been? Because there may be others right now that are watching, and I'm sure there are, that want to venture into this space. And other industries such as technology and law and medicine, all of those are very male dominated. And it's hard for any woman. And then on top of that, a minority woman. Can you shed some light from your experiences with that, Benita?
Well, one thing is, I most definitely welcome, my peers into this industry, and any other industry for that matter. We just all have to remember that we once were young. We once didn't know something, and we all are learning, and especially us millennials, we are in careers now. We are making, creating the next building blocks for the next generation. So I just think that, for anything to grow, or get better, one generation has to be willing to teach the next generation to be better than them, right? So that the whole world actually can change, even if it just starts with real estate, or if it just starts with technology. It'll rub off, because we coming global with technology. So, everyone just remembering that we need each other, regardless of what industry that we in. We are, like I made in a post earlier, we are the great grandparents of, two generations. So, we just have to, pick ourselves up wherever we are, It doesn't matter what field you're in. I always speak to people about coming into real estate. The industry, there, almost every industry on the planet needs to be changed. You know, it needs to get better. It needs to grow. It needs to be able to, you know, be available to all people, you know, because if it affects one of us, it really affects all of us, whether we're affected directly or indirectly. So, you know, just go for it. Whatever it is that you want to do. If it doesn't work out, at least you tried it, you know, and you know. And, you know, when we're older, you don't have to say, well, I should have, or I could have, you know, just go ahead and experiment with your life. You know, life is our first teachers. And, you know, like I said, despite where you are in life, you can always change where you are. And with the focus of being better, though, with the focus of creating a better world or being a better person for the next person, you know, just to create I don't know why I keep saying this, but just really create a whole better world. It just starts with you.
It does.
Whatever change you want to see.
It absolutely does. And I tell you, you sound like someone much, much older than your years, Benita. And so I thank you for sharing that sage advice that all of us, no matter how old you are, can learn from and benefit from. So we talked about, you know, you as a young woman in this field, this real estate industry, again, very male dominated oftentimes and so forth. We've talked about why you are so passionate about this. And again, we have to thank your uncle and his success before you. And I think you're doing him very, very proud right now, Benita. But now let's shift into real estate education in the time we have remaining, because I know that that's another area that you're very passionate about, real estate education. Can you tell us what it is that you do specifically when it comes to real estate education, and why all of us can probably benefit from knowing more about this industry?
One of the first things that I did, you know, after I joined, you know, after I became a realtor, and I just learned about all the different organizations and, you know, what it actually means to be a realtor. I joined the Women's Council of NAREB. Okay, so I'm following in my uncle's footsteps here. He was the president, you know, back in '95 of the Memphis chapter of NAREB. And so now, well, since '71, actually, there has been a Women's Council of NAREB. And so one thing that they teach us is empowering ourselves as leaders and being models for the community and educating our community on home ownership. So my first year, this is actually my first year anniversary in real estate. Today is the anniversary day. I started a year ago today. And so the first about 6 months of my real estate career, I really dove into learning, because there are a lot of words and there are a lot of important things to know when dealing with the land. And now that was like the first 6 months. And then my second 6 months, I went into working as a real estate agent, you know, actually getting to personal experience on being that agent that I learned about, you know, and implementing my practices. So I've just stepped into teaching here at Assured Real Estate Services, my new brokerage, Go Team Assured. And so I'm educating new realtors, for one thing, that would like to come into the industry on the same thing that I discovered. What does it mean to be a real estate agent, for not only for myself, but for my clients? I'm also educating, you know, renters on, you know, what it takes to be a homeowner. I'm educating buyers on the process of purchasing a property. You know, yes, there are a lot of obstacles, but that's life. You don't give up when you have an obstacle. You know, you stick with it. If it's something you really want and it's a goal, you work through the problems and you get over the obstacles and you keep going. And you just find solutions to all these obstacles and problems that may come up. With the sellers, you know, I'm letting them know and educating them on equity in their property and, you know, what they could do with that, you know, their options if they want to sell. And, you know, just I've really just in property management as well, you know, really wanting to educate, myself and build a system for renters, so that, it's a lot of fraud going on out here with rental properties as well as deeds. But, I'm really looking to just take all the knowledge that I have about the land and the people and just connecting the people to the land, connecting their minds to the land, because it's already connected. We don't realize how connected we are to the land, the way that we are. So, I'm at the office when I'm out and about. I love speaking about real estate, educating, giving, solutions to credit, sending people to people who help with credit, financial advisors. I'm a full-time agent. I live and breathe real estate. So.
And that's obvious. And it's obvious that not only do you live and breathe it, but you are so very passionate about it and an advocate for it. And especially for letting others know that, you can own a home. You can go from being a renter all your life to being a homeowner, no matter where you are. And I love it when I see younger folks buying their first properties in their 20s. I think that's fantastic. But even if you are 58 years old right now, I'm just making up a number, everybody, but you get what I'm saying. Even if you're older, you can still be a homeowner and benefit from it. So I thank you, Benita, for all that you're doing to educate people, no matter where they are in their journey. I think it's fantastic that you are so passionate about real estate. And I love what you said about connecting us to the land. And going a little bit deeper, a little bit more spiritual, if I can use that term here, when it comes to just us being connected more than we realize, and why it behooves us all to have a stake in that. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Are you struggling with addiction? Do you need to detox? Is addiction controlling your life, hurting your loved ones? Don't be ashamed. Addiction is a disease that requires medical treatment. At Freedom from Addiction, we help people nationwide get free from addiction to alcohol, opioids, prescription medicine, narcotics, and more. Your life is precious. Addiction is a disease. Accept the help you need and call Freedom from Addiction now to get the victory over addiction you and your family deserve. We get hundreds of calls every day. Right now, we just want one, yours. Call Freedom from Addiction now, and in as little as 21 days from right now, you can return home free from addiction and free to start a new chapter in your life. But you have to call now.
Make the call, 1-866-485-1956.
I can't wait to get to the Q&A, but before we get to that, Benita, I definitely want to thank you for sharing of your story, your journey, your passion. Now, for those that are watching us right now that have enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed this, and they want to connect more with you, they want to learn more about Assured Real Estate Services, how can they do that? How can they connect more directly with you, Benita?
Okay, so one way you connect with me is by phone, 901-364-6161. That is my personal direct phone number. You also can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and that is Benita Summers. That's BANITA SUMMERS, and on Instagram as Benita L Summers. So that's just with the letter L in between Benita Summers. And those are my social media. You can also email me as well. It's my first and last name, benitasummers@yahoo.com. And if you're local, we are here over on Winchester and Mendenhall at 5507 Winchester Road, suite number 12.
I love it. So everyone, I hope you take notes, especially if you're in the Memphis area, correct, Benita? If you're
Correct.
down there in Memphis, I'm up here in Chicago, but if you're down there in Memphis, I wish, Benita, you were here. I wish we had a clone of you up here. But if you're down there in that area, you absolutely need to go and check out Benita Summers over there at Assured Real Estate Services and all of her great team over there, I'm sure, that are helping people. I love it, getting connected back to the land. I really like that. And I like that whole school of thought. And I think it's so important. Go right ahead, Benita.
I also like to add that it's not just necessarily in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the whole area of Shelby County, right? So we have other cities next to Memphis that, you know, are not considered Memphis, but they are in the same county. So we do service Shelby County, the Mid-South, the whole Mid-South regional area. And I do work actually all of West Tennessee and Middle Tennessee. So I'm a real estate agent for the whole state of Tennessee, but I do work the western part and the middle part. And we have a team of professionals that works in Mississippi, right, and in Arkansas.
Fantastic. Well, I stand corrected. If you're in the southern region, everybody, and you're looking for a passionate, educated, and energetic agent, well, I think you cannot go wrong with Benita. And again, I'm going to give credit to her and the whole team over there at Assured Real Estate Services. So thank you again, Benita. We're going to continue the conversation. For those of you that may need to leave us now, guess what? We also want you to stay connected to another very passionate organization, and that's us here at Bibo. Make sure you go over to worldofbibo.com. That's worldofbibo.com. We absolutely want to stay connected to you as well. So we're going to continue the conversation, but for right now, I'm going to say for those of you that may be leaving us, guess what? Each and every week, we're bringing you actionable advice, and you got some more here today. We're going to do it again next week. But in the meantime, in this very chaotic, crazy world that we're all living in, folks, please, by all means, stay safe, stay healthy. Most of all, stay blessed. And we'll see you here next week.